Imagine this scenario. 𝗦𝗧𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗧 finished from grave crawling, totally exhausted, shrine licking. And then later on he has to go mud bathing and fire walking on top of it.
وأنا المحب لأهل سنة أحمد أنا غصة في حلق من عاداني.
And he sits and then he thinks about, how can I justify, water down, dilute the disaster, the musibah, the karitha. That is our ayatollahs, our top scholars, who can't manage to learn the basics. If you want to talk anything about the Quran, you need to know the basics. Tajweed makharij al-huruf. How can I water it down, dilute, distract from this disaster? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Let's find something. Oh, look, this Shemrani dude, who is a Persian. Yes, I'm Persian. Alhamdulillah. He had an interview. He gave an interview, over an hour interview. So let me take a few seconds out of it, and then let me make fun of the mistakes of this non-Arab person, and forget about the fact that he gave an interview over 1 hour on Arabic, live TV. The moderator being an Egyptian, fast-paced speaking people, may Allah bless the Egyptians, and this Shemrani dude, he's not a scholar, not a 𝗙𝗢𝗓𝗕𝗦𝗧 al-ilm. He, over an hour, gave an interview to the best of his ability. It's true that my ayatollahs can't even read a half of a Fatiha with semi-correct makharij al-huruf and tajweed. It's correct that the mute Sistani, the Buddha of Najaf, doesn't say a single word in Arabic because although he lives under protection, he lives under the protection. Even some Shias now attacking him now. He lives, in the past they said, excuse, Saddam Hussein, he lives under Ba'athi rule. Over 20 years, 2 decades under Shia rule, Iran's protection, Shia militias, he doesn't even give a single fatwa. Speech. You know that one of his representatives is Abdul Mahdi. Yes, Abdul Mahdi, Abdul Zahra, Abdul Masih, like other mushrikeen. Abdul Mahdi al-Karbala'i. He gives Friday prayers in his name. The guy doesn't even lead Friday prayer. And remember one time reading a discussion between 2 Shias. One of them met Sistani and he was shocked. You know why he was shocked? He said his Arabic is disastrous. Wallahi al-azim. These were 2 people who hated me. They didn't know that I'm seeing the conversation. So the person who met Sistani said his Arabic was disastrous. Thick Iranian accent, which nobody's mocking the Persian language. I'm Persian. I love the Persian language. I wrote articles in defense of the Persian language. In defense about the beauty of the Persian language. But how comes that these people reside decades in Najaf and speak it with a thick Iranian accent? Even the Pakistani one, what's his name? Najafi, Fayyad, Sistani. All of Sistani doesn't even speak at all. And this person said, now I understand why he doesn't speak. Because you know why? If Sistani would come out and speak, this 𝗙𝗢𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗙𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗙 this holiness that they built around him, it would all fall. People, the Arab Shias especially, would be shocked. This person's Ayatollah can't even read the Kitab Allah and hasn't even learned the basics of makharij al-huruf and tajweed. And that's the case with most of the major scholars, du'ad, except here and there are exceptions. Same with, Ahl Sunnah in Iran. They bring some political leader from the Sunnis of Iran, say, oh, look, he made mistakes in reading. Look how he reads Quran. 99% of everybody knows in Iran, even the Shias, the Sunnis in Iran read Quran better, do hifz better, have better makharij al-huruf. There's no exceptions, don't prove the rule. Exceptions actually do prove the rule. Exceptions prove the rule, i.e., some among us who are not that good, they're exceptions. And some among the Rafida who can read the Quran very well, especially from amongst the scholars, they are the exceptions. You know why? Because most of the scholars are pathetic, disastrous failures when it comes to these basics. And yes, basics, of course it's important. If you don't know makharij al-huruf, makharij al-huruf, you stand, and you concentrate, you should recite, and you get the basics wrong. How can you talk about anything bigger than makharij al-huruf, tafsir and whatnot? So anyways, they thought to themselves, how can we respond back to the Shemrani and these people? And they take some from my one. I want to see one of their ayatollahs. You know, if you guys who criticize, I want to see one of your ayatollahs. I want to see Sistani. I want to see Ayatollah Najafi. I want to see them, all right, to go 1 hour. This Rouhani with his Majusi accent, he still lives. This Khurasani with his despicable, hideous makharij. I want to see them going 1 hour on live TV and giving an interview. Of course I make mistakes. At the very beginning, I said in Arabic that I'm going to make mistakes. Plenty of them. Yes, but I'm not an Ayatollah. I don't claim that I'm Ayatollah who can't read the Kitab Allah. Ayatollah can't read the Kitab Allah. I don't claim that I'm a representative of the Mahdi. I know I'm not mocking the Persian language. I'm Persian. I love the Persian language. I would mock the Italian accent if people claiming to be masters of the Quran and representatives of the madhab of Ahlul Bayt, and they're, let's say, from Italy, and after decades they still read the Quran with an Italian accent. That's not an attack on an Italian accent to say, what is this? That's an attack on them, against them, for their failures. So you see, this is how pathetic they are. This is how pathetic they are. They have nothing against us, so they have to clutch on straws. And as I said, I don't claim to be an Ayatollah. I'm supposed to make these mistakes and more than them. And I certainly don't have a Majusi accent. If you want to hear a proper juicy Majusi accent, listen to this.
Sheikh Hassan, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I just heard a rumor. Is it true that you won't debate anybody with egg stains on their clothes these days?
These guys are dirt. You ever think these guys can come and debate me? You guys must be joking.
Shemrani doesn't speak Arabic. Abu Ismail doesn't speak Arabic. None of them speak Arabic.
I think Shemrani does speak Arabic, but I think he's, from what I've seen, he's got like a Persian accent to it.
It's very heavy. This Shemrani character, this miskeen, this poor guy, his Arabic is weak with his Farsi Persian accent.
You must be joking.
وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الرسول العربي القرشي الهاشمي الذي بعثه الرحمن رحمة للعالمين صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه لا سيما أبي بكر الصديق وعمر الفاروق وعثمان ذو النورين وعلي بن أبي طالب أسد الله الغالب ومن سار على دربه إلى يوم الدين آمين ثم أما بعد يا عباد الله اتقوا الله.
His Arabic is weak with his Farsi Persian accent.
This Shemrani character, this weak Arabic, it's so much juicy.
أطلق زعيم الحوزة العلمية في قم المقدسة آية الله العظمى الشيخ حسين الوحيد الخراساني تصريحات نارية.
اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وتدهور الزمان
والعمل بها هو حقيقة التقوى.
وأعلن الحسين سلام الله عليه يوم عاشوراء أعلن أنه قد وصل إلى هذه المرتبة.
We are not here to generalize all the Shias. It's not going to be a Shia bashing. We're not talking about all Shias. It's not. We will talk about one particular individual and a group of Shias, which is the clergy, the clerics, the turban ones, and the polemicists, and why they are, generally speaking, known for anything but excelling in the recitation of the Quran, or forget about excelling in it, knowing the basics like makharij al-huruf and tajweed. They are failures when it comes to this.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
So it's not a bashing, it's not a generalization of all Shias. There is many. I used to be a Shia, and we will talk about it. There are many Shias who can read the Quran, but we will discuss why is it that these so-called ayatullahs, these so-called signs, miracles of Allah, and their students and their followers from amongst the polemicists are such failures when it comes to the basics of the deen. We're talking here about the basics.
وأنا المحب لأهل سنة أحمد أنا غصة في حلق من عاداني.
So this is the main issue. This is what we really want to come in. And obviously, as Brother Hassan said, we're going to be concentrating on just a case example, a case study of one person who's a well-known polemicist from the UK, Hassan Qadri, who constantly, quite frequently poses with hundreds of books in front of him, claims academia. He puts other people down as being not on his level. Likes to pose with
excuses and whatnot.
Extend excuses, and poses with Fath al-Bari, which is an explanation of Sahih al-Bukhari by Ibn Hajar, and is not something that's open to beginning levels. We're going to show you.
Abu Muslim, there's one thing I wanted to stress on, is that, as I mentioned at the beginning, that of course they will come with excuses, that what is the threshold of reading the Quran correctly? Why do you nitpick and whatnot? Again, look, I don't know how many times you need to explain it to them, but this will be the final cut. This will be the final cut, inshallah, because look, I myself, a few weeks ago, I was invited on a live TV show, satellite channel live, with an Arab Egyptian host. Those who know Egyptian accent, they talk fast. He interviewed me about my story, how I left Shiism, and so on and so forth, my da'wah and so on. That was 2 shows, 2 separate days. So I think 2 hours. It was difficult. I'm not a native Arabic speaker. I'm not. And I made tons of mistakes. You can find tons of mistakes of mine, tons. I make mistakes in Arabic. You make mistakes in Arabic. Sunnis make mistakes in Arabic, even mistakes in Quran. In fact, you can find big qurra even, or the imams of the Haram. They pray sometimes in Tarawih and they make some mistakes.
Of course,
that's normal. Mistakes. We always tell these people that, why don't you understand? Everybody does mistakes. So that's the thing. I make mistakes. All of us make mistakes. But here's the thing, guys. Listen. Whether you're Sunni or Shias, of course there's a threshold. They ask, is there a threshold? Of course there is. I myself, I'm a teacher. And one of the subjects I do teach is actually tajweed. I do teach tajweed, alhamdulillah. And sometimes my students have a question, various ages. I had between like 6 years, from 6 years to 99 years old. One good question that I always love when the students ask, they say, but is it really absolutely necessary? Is it necessary that everybody reads the Quran perfectly? What about if there's an old person? I always advise them. I say, never mock someone. Never mock someone who genuinely can't read the Quran. Let's someone is in some remote village and he tried his best. And I said, no, we don't go around and mock people, mock their accents, mock their Persian accent or their Bengali accent or their Urdu accent or whatever accent. No, these people don't understand. We are not talking about an auntie who lives somewhere in a remote village. We are talking about people, guys, who refer to themselves as Ayatullah, which can be translated as miracle or sign of Allah. We are talking about people who have Fathul Bari there on their bookshelves, who speak, who pretend they are, all of it, who doubt the iman of the Sahaba, make takfir of the Sahaba, or make, like this Qadi Jahil who says, I don't make mas takfir. Yeah, you only make mas tabdi' on the Sahaba, mashallah. Most Sahaba are dallin only, especially Muhajir and Ansar, that Allah says, follow them. According to them, Fatima radhiyallahu anha called them treacherous and whatever. So this is the point here. The point is that you can't compare people who generally have issues, problems in pronunciation, have never learned it, with people who claim to be Ayatullah and they don't learn the basics of Ayatullah.
Should we dive in?
Yes, so long introduction, but that was needed. So now we're going to listen to Surah Shams by a Shi'i academic who did not learn the basics of the Quran, the basics of the Arabic language, like Makharij al-Huruf. So it's not nitpicking here. We're talking about basics. He's not much better than his Ayatullahs, and you're going to see. Bismillah, let's start.
Okay. There you go. So you should be able to hear this.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Wash-shamsi wa-duhaha.
Okay. Right off the bat, I've never ever heard in my life anyone put a shadda on the meme. Not in any of the qira'at. Not that Shiites believe in the qira'at anyway, but not in any of the qira'at, a meme with a shadda on it. Wash-shamsi wa-duhaha. I don't know where he got that. Where do you think he got that from, Hassan? Any idea?
You see, if we wanted to nitpick, we would start with the basmala, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, but you're being nice. You're being nice. You're being nice that he doesn't know that the rise muraqaqa and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. But al-muhim, that we get, it's he's ba'id that they know this. But washam, there is no shadda on the meme. Why would you hold the shadda on the meme? I tell you why you would do that. This is not a what do you call it? A small mistake. This is if you don't know how to read the Quran. This is if you make things as you go along. He doesn't know. He just reads it the way it sounds nice. So how can you add a shadda where there's no shadda? وَالشَّمْسِ وَالضُّحَاهَا. And this ha is also, it sounds quite similar to the ha, but al-muhim.
Anyway, let's carry on. Okay, so the shadda on the meme, that's a weird one.
وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا.
Okay, وَالْقَمَرِ. I've never heard anyone put a shadda on the lam, or even I can't tell. Is it a shadda or is it a mad?
Whatever it is, whatever it is, we can call it holding on the lam. This is a lam with sukoon. A lam with sukoon, you can't hold on the lam with sukoon because it might sound like a shadda then, or as if you are prolonging it. You can't say, well, this is Subhanallah.
I've never heard this. Have you heard this before?
Listen. After a few months teaching the younger ones, I've never seen one of them making these mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody says, well, qamari. Say to them, listen, boys, it's well, qamari. There's no well, qamari. This guy says, wallah. And then he says, idha tala. There's a mat. There's a mat of alif.
He takes a breath halfway through the sentence.
There's no breath.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden the Shia love the qira'ah of Hamza. All of a sudden with its pauses.
The Imam said, Sheikh, they don't believe in qira'at aslan. They don't believe in ahruf. The Imam said, kadhabu. They lied. Yeah. So if they kadhabu, so what did the Imam say? Of course, all lies and khurafat and khuza'balat attributed to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. What did the Imam say? The Imam said, read like the people. The people in England, the vast majority of Muslims in the world, they read Hafs and Asim, right? Hafs and Asim, there is no break.
I mean, even with the recitation of Hamza, there's rules. And that's not talaha. That's not a place where you stop and take a pause.
Yeah,
anyway.
I say even if we, yes, you're right.
And they don't want to recite qira'at, but they'll make up their own qira'ah in the process. Anyway, so let's see what happens next. What disasters await us next. Now on the noon, why? Now there's an ikhfa on the noon there. Where did that come from? There's supposed to be a straight ghunna. وَالنَّهَارِ, not وَالنَّهَارِ. That's so weird.
There's a strong ghunna there. Noon with shadda, meme, and noon with shadda, strong ghunna, and that's it. There's nothing difficult about it. You teach this a child. You say to the child, kids, noon and meme with shadda comes with a very strong ghunna, and that's it. No ikhfa, no nothing.
How are you doing ikhfa on a noon? Have you ever had an ikhfa on a noon, Hassan?
And then have you heard the subhanallah, if this is nitpicking, I don't know. At the end, what is this? Jallaha. Jallaha.
So if we're only picking up the really, really big mistakes, if we wanted to nitpick, we'd pick up so many other things. But these are the major ones, basically. And again, he stopped. He did another pause, where you should not pause. There's no need. In the qira'ah of Hassan Asim, and even the other qira'at, that's not a place where you pause. Anyway, let's carry on with this musibat al-kubra. Okay, why is it
butchering? That's butchering finished.
Yeah. So I'm confused. Why is there yaghshaha become yakhshaha? That's clearly a kha, right? And again, either, why is there a pause after either? You're not supposed to pause there. Okay.
And there's a ghunna when it's well-layli. You can't. Well, the wa is muraqqaqa. These are alif ba. Wow is a muraqqaqa letter. Is a light letter. So you can't say wa. You have to say wa. Well-layli. Wa. Is this difficult? Subhanallah.
Yeah.
He is an Iraqi. He's an Arab speaker. I'm a non-Arab speaker. So if I can do this, if kids here in madrasas can do that, if the elder ones who we teach can do this, why can't they? And why do they speak about the deen? Why do they speak about these matters if they can't learn the alif ba, subhanallah?
And this basically embarrassed me. I looked very stupid.
Yeah,
mistakes all of us make. I do repeat in Arabic, in Quran.
Yeah,
these basics.
Subhanallah.
Constantly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have some good news. There's only 5 seconds left of this, so there's not much.
All right. Alhamdulillah.
So that's another problem. A major problem with his recitation is that the timing and the lengthening of the letters is all wrong. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا. There's no mad on these. This is a very short letter. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا. That's it. Straight up.
Do you think he knows the difference between mad al-far'i and the other mads?
No, not enough.
So
yeah. So this is also this is the guy who's going around, wanted to challenge Sunnis. He still lectures on Sunni topics and posts up defense of Shiaism basically, but obviously hides from debate, doesn't want to debate Imama, lots of excuses, calls himself a lion, etc., 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 poses with hundreds of books. Just recently he posted up a video about how he learned Arabic in 6 months, which is obviously untrue, because it's just proven that I don't know what he was learning in 6 months. It certainly wasn't Arabic or Quran. But
I don't know what to say.